Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode, a very, very special episode of the Shed Organics Show. And my name is Jordan, and today we are in the Weedy Garden with Weedy himself. Hey, g'day Weedy.
I was trying to poke my head around the side of you just to say hello.
Oh, okay.
You might see that later. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And welcome to the garden.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's such a beautiful garden. I very much enjoy coming the drive through here, through this beautiful part of the world.
It's nice sitting underneath with that little breeze we just got, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous underneath the banana trees.
It's humid today.
It's very humid up here on the hill, but yeah, getting to sit underneath banana trees and...
Usually you do podcasts and you're sitting in your little office.
Yes.
Doing your podcast and talking with someone else in a little office.
That's right. So this is very different.
You asked if I'd like to do that. And I suggested that if you're interested, to take a drive up so you could see the garden, and we'd sit in the garden and do it instead.
I was very, very happy to take on that. Yeah. It was something I guess, like, you know, watching online and seeing the place that you've created and curated is one thing, but being here is certainly a very special...
Do you think those people watching know who the Weedy Garden is yet, or know what the Weedy Garden is?
I'd like to hope so. Yeah. I think so, but if they haven't, then this is a perfect opportunity for them to get to know you a little bit better and get to see the space. But certainly, yeah, being here and seeing the garden that you've created on the Weedy Garden on the hill.
Yeah. I usually say far away from any town and even further from the city, to kind of give it that feeling of, yeah, it's in the middle of nowhere. And it actually is, because our house is about 200 metres down the hill.
Yes.
And this garden was built during COVID. Yes. And it was just on top of the hill up here on the property, without any home around or anything like that. So it is quite, what's the word, isolated.
It feels it, but it also feels like a home away from home.
Yeah.
In very much the same way.
That's nice that you say that, actually, because I'd say that's what a garden is. The feeling of being in a garden is like, you know, when you feel like you're home. That's a nice feeling. People know that feeling, like, I feel like I'm home. But having a garden as your home, it feels like you're in a home inside a home. So that's quite interesting that you say that.
It's very apt.
Yeah.
And I feel like...
I think a lot of people do have that deep down kind of feeling of themselves to be living like that.
Yes.
I think naturally a lot of human beings actually would like to live like a gorilla in a forest, you know? Like live a simple life and just eat the food around you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I very much appreciate that, yeah.
Can I give you a little taste of what that's like to do?
Yes, let's do it. That would be amazing.
Okay, we'll go for a little wander. And the good thing about a garden like this is I've got a lot of diversity. And so different times of year, different things are fruiting.
Yes.
Right, so we do have stuff in the middle of the winter and we do have stuff in the spring. But this time of year, in the end of the summer, we've got lots of the yummy tropical fruits.
Yum.
So I won't say what we've got now, but we'll go and surprise people watching what we come back with.
That'll be wonderful.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Take a little trip.
Wow, look at this.
It might roll downhill, but I'll keep the pineapple there.
What a wonderful spread.
See, it's all rolling downhill now, but that's okay.
That's part of it.
We need our chopping block to chop our stuff.
This is gorgeous. That was amazing, just to wander around and literally pick off the trees, off the...
And we tasted a few other berries while we were there. What did you taste? Some grapes?
Yes.
And
was it Brazilian berry?
Brazilian cherry.
Brazilian cherry.
Brazilian cherry. And I think you had some acerolas, but we've got some more acerolas here.
Yes.
And we were actually saying as well, I mean, when you look at this fruit, you know, I mean, look at this mango. If you saw that one in the shop,
Well, you might
is
put
it
it
okay
back.
if I
You
show
might,
a little
yeah,
bit closer to the?
please, go for
Can you
it.
see this mango? Righto. You'd think, oh no. If you were at the supermarket, that would probably be the last one that you picked, right?
Be the one at the end, yeah.
But I can tell you what's underneath it. It's gonna just make your mouth water.
Oh, it's
I like to just eat mangoes in the creek. Actually, just sort of rip them apart and eat them in the creek.
yeah.
We'll be a little bit more civilized. Yeah.
With the knife and the chopping block, yes.
I don't know if you've got any special way to do mangoes or open fruit up.
Sometimes I do it the crisscross and then fold it out.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you what I've done before.
Okay.
Thank you very much. This is wonderful. What an experience. Sometimes I will cut round the other way and twist it
Oh yeah,
off.
like that. Yeah, cut it around that way
And sort of
then
twist
just
off,
twist it
and
off.
then you can use a little spoon and
I've
eat it out.
I've seen that as well. So there's 3 ways to do it. Yeah, that way, this way, and just eating it like a gorilla
Like a gorilla pulling it apart.
in the creek.
Let me have a taste of this. This looks amazing. I'll show this up to the camera as well. Look how good that looks. Beautiful and orange.
And it's very, very aromatic as well.
Mmm. Delicious. No, so this is a joy that I think many gardeners enjoy. Oh, wow.
This is actually ripened on the tree. I pulled this off the tree yesterday. I didn't know it was there. I thought I had no mangoes this season. On the same little mango tree, I planted it as a seed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the first mango I ate when I came to the property.
So this is the first mango tree that went in?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the first mango I ate when I came to the property. I bought a mango and I ate it. And I kept the seed and I put it in a pot. And I let it stay in the pot for 2 years. And then I put it down there in the garden.
Yes.
When it was about this high. And now it's about 3 meters high. And last year it gave me 18 mangoes.
Wow.
And this year it only gave this one. So this is the one single mango from that tree.
This is it.
That we're eating
I
now.
feel very privileged to have the season's mango.
Yeah, it's the season's mango. I think it depends on the season, and it was a very, very hot, moist spring. Mm-hmm. They get this fungus on them called anthrax nose, it's called, and the little baby mangoes fall off the tree.
Yes, I think where we are in Brisbane, there's been, fortunately, quite a few people that are experiencing a bumper crop this year, actually.
Oh, yeah. It's different all over the place, I think.
It is. And even driving through the countryside to get here, I had the windows down, as you do, getting the fresh air. And occasionally the temperature would drop as I come through the valley and it's nice and cold and chilly. And then you'd sort of come up round the corner and the window would fog up and you'd get a bit of humidity.
Oh, really?
And,
that was early this morning. That was 5 o'clock this morning.
Was a little bit early this morning. Yeah. But it was really interesting to see the different microclimates even just coming through this area into where it is. And, you know, as you said before, it's nice and hot up here on the hill.
There's little microclimates here now on the hill.
There would be.
Right here we're sitting underneath the banana trees. It's probably 5 degrees or even 10 degrees cooler than it is in the tunnel. Mm. And there's a little breeze coming up the hill. Yeah, it's a bit, I don't know if it's a bit rude to eat this fruit on camera, but it tastes delicious, everybody.
I don't think so. I think it's wonderful. I'm going to be a little bit selfish and say that I'm quite happy to be eating this mango on camera. I think it's fitting.
I mean, it's pretty cool, I reckon.
As you say, being able to wander around the garden and pick something fresh at its peak point of nutrition. Yeah. And all year round have access to different produce.
And none of it's got any chemicals on it. Mm-hmm. And all of it is fed with what's coming out of this garden on this hill, bar from the cows that go around in the paddock, because they do get a bit of cow manure from the outside.
And what are you having now? What's that?
It's a ladyfinger.
From one of the bananas above us? Well.
Yeah, well, not actually one of these ones. Yes, it might have been one of those ones actually behind us that I chopped yesterday. But it was one of those clusters that I didn't bag. Yes. So the birds had eaten most of it. So there was a cluster of bananas with most of them eaten. There was a couple of little ones at the bottom that were still okay.
That's the other thing with fresh produce that is sitting there nice and ripening on the vine, is that there's a lot of other visitors that will come in and have a go at that as well. Yeah. So what are you battling up here on the hill in terms of what tends to like to come and take produce from you?
That's a good question. It's funny because when you have a garden, you build it like I did on the hill in the middle of nowhere, then nothing bothers you the first year and you go, oh, I know what I'm doing. You know, of course, everyone's talking about pests and you go, no, I've got no pests.
Got no pests.
Just because all the animals that live in the area, they've got their little GPS tracking set in to where their food routes are, and you're not on their radar.
Yes.
You know, animals are not just going around in nature going, oh, I wonder where there's food, you know. They know where all the food is.
Yeah.
And they're kind of just moving from spot to spot.
That's right.
And like animals, like their dinner table is the whole everywhere.
And then one of them discovers your...
One of them flying away and says, oh, I'm a bit tired, I might just land here. And they go, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
That smells like a Brazilian cherry. Geez.
And then they
and
tell
it takes
everyone.
it, and it goes back home and tells it to everyone. You know what I did once? This beautiful little mulberry tree that I planted, it's like about this high. And I think it was in the ground for 3 years. And one year it's like, oh, look at all these mulberries. Like the branches were like full of mulberries, little green mulberries.
Yeah,
And
delicious.
I'm watching it and they're getting pink and I'm watching it and just about ready that I can go and start eating them. And I come out one day and the birds had found them and they were all over the ground and they'd taken a fair few, but not all of them. And they don't all ripen at once. So there was all the green ones and the pink ones still. So I put a net over it. And then when I come back another day in the morning and one of the birds had got in, but when I came it tried to fly away and it couldn't get out of the net because it couldn't figure out where it got in.
Yeah.
And I caught it. And you know what I did? I tried the Viking technique. The Viking technique, you know when the Vikings, they go and like destroy some place and they leave someone behind and say, tell everyone what we did?
Yeah.
That's why I call it that, because I got the bird and I didn't hurt it, but I just grabbed it and I squeezed it a little bit and I could feel its breath going, I'm stronger than you. I felt like a big troll, you know, and I put its head, I opened my mouth and I actually put its head in my mouth and I yelled at it and I said, this is my mulberry tree. I said it like an angry troll. And I said, remember that and tell your friends not to come back, please.
Please, yeah, with the please.
And then I just threw it into the air and a couple of tail feathers flew off it and it kind of flew off in that direction and it didn't come back. And no more birds ate the mulberries that year. And this year I haven't seen one bird on my mulberries and I've eaten all the mulberries off the tree without netting it.
Isn't that incredible?
It's a coincidence maybe.
Coincidence.
But
Well,
it's a good story and it's a true story.
Well,
but I don't know how it works. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to catch the bush turkey so I can bite it on its left nail, bite it on its left toenail or something and say, don't come back. I almost caught it the other day. You can see there's some tail feathers down there.
Oh, yes.
Near the chickens. It got in with the chickens and it didn't get it run up enough to fly over the fence. So I got it cornered in the fence and I was trying to grab it, but it got away from me.
They're quick.
Yeah.
I've tried to do the same thing.
And I was a bit scared to just grab it because they've got pretty big claws and pretty big beaks. And I thought, no, I won't just grab it like I do my chickens.
It's kind of...
Yeah, I could have, but I wasn't prepared. It was a bit of a kind of a quick thing that happened. But I thought if I'd have done it and I got it and I just said, you know, listen up, and really, really scared it. I'm kind of thinking that that's because that's like, you know, animals have instincts and all that. Animals have reactions and animals have ways of survival and all that. You know, it's like a bush turkey knows what a fox is, and they're going to stay away from it. You know. And,
interesting you say that, right? Yeah. I have a black German Shepherd who looks like a wolf.
Okay.
And I've trained him to bark at the bush turkey.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You'd think that the bush turkey wouldn't wander into my
But it
yard.
still does?
It still does.
Okay.
So I'm curious as to whether your experiment...
They might need some physical...
I'm scared to let him get close to it, to be honest. I don't think it would be too good for the bush turkey. But maybe it needs to be me. And
well, I don't know. I think a lot of people suggest I get a dog as well to keep the bush turkey out. Because the dog will say, this is our territory, keep out, and it will kind of roam the area. And if it sees it, it'll run after it, and the bush turkey will run away, and the bush turkey will get sick of coming in after a while. Because
you'd think that, but my garden certainly doesn't look like this. And if the bush turkey still wants to come into my place, then I'm thinking that there's a lot more reward here for it persisting to keep coming in. So.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Do you want to pass me that pineapple?
Oh, yes.
I can smell it from here. We'll just keep this mango here.
That is delicious.
Because if I start slurping on that seed, I'm going to get all mango-y.
Yes. I mean, they do get a bit
with these pineapples, I actually, you can just grab it here and you just twist it like that, and then you just put that in water.
That's right.
You just got to pull these off, pull a few of these off.
Just to get a little bit more contact
and
point.
those little things here, little brown things there, they're the roots that are starting to come out. And you can just put it in some water, put it in a glass of water. And you don't have to change the water every day. It doesn't matter if the water goes all like, looks like tea.
Yeah.
Let it there, because that's all the bacteria that have developed to look after it.
That's right.
Because if you change the water every day, it's like you're taking away the food.
You're washing away all the food and
Yeah,
nutrients.
so basically just let it sit there, and it'll start to shoot roots out. And when it's got roots, you can put it in a pot if you want with some nice soil, or you can put it in the ground. Make sure you keep the water up to it. And I've been doing that since I got here, and I got pineapples all around the place.
That's wonderful. And how long do you have to wait?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And for one pineapple, or does it give you a couple?
I know, it just gives one. This will give one, but then the root kind of grows out and another one will kind of grow up. So it does become a bit of a clump of kind of pineapples after a while.
Yes, okay, cool.
Or you can pull it, you can take it off, and then you can chop them up and divide the root of that pineapple up into a few more and spread them out if you want as well.
Propagating. Yeah.
So you don't only get one a year, you can kind of get 3 to 4.
Yes.
You know?
Oh, okay, delicious.
Yeah. So yeah, I love pineapple, and I can't wait to taste this one because it's
It's
nice.
a big size
nice
too,
and
that
ripe,
one.
yeah.
Nice and beautiful. So yeah, I had a chance to come around the garden with you and pick that and get a chance to smell it straight off the vine as well. It's just beautiful, and the color is just amazing.
They grow. I don't know if they can tolerate frost or not. I think it needs to be subtropical or tropical for pineapples.
That's right. Well, they are essentially a tropical fruit, aren't you? You see them in a tropical smoothie, so...
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, here we go. Look at this beautiful big piece of...
Oh, look at that.
I saved some for Mrs. Weedy.
Please do, yes.
We can have a taste of this.
Goodness me, wow.
We'll chop it up into smaller pieces. I know, I'll tell you what, I'll just make a pineapple
slice.
lollipop.
Look at that.
And we can slurp away.
Slurp away very nicely during the conversation. That's great, thank you. So much juice.
The best thing, is when I'm up here running around, I don't worry about all the juice and stuff. I just like eat it like a gorilla. You just sit down there and squat and it's like eat this fruit, and just go and wash yourself afterwards. It's like there's nothing. It's like I can't be closer to like how nature intended it to be. I think by doing that, even cutting it up and eating it like a civilized person is kind of like okay, we're one step away, but we're still pretty close. And,
You're right.
and when you look at the sort of the main society, they're sort of so many steps away from that.
Yes.
And that's why I like doing what I'm doing, because I kind of want to encourage people to get back to that stage or that sort of step where you not only get a healthy body because you're eating organic food that's grown in soil with a life, but you're also getting that time where you nurture it, which helps you just basically connect. If you're sitting in a city and you're having a life, this is very different to this, then you're not going to understand the language if I just start going on about it, you know what I mean? I've got to try and find a language that everyone understands. That's why I like my channel, because I'm very visual with my camera. I was a photographer before I did my channel.
Well,
so I'm a photographer with a garden, not a gardener with a camera.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit if we can. Something, even just looking at some of the photos that you have taken over your career as a photographer, was very much about trying to capture as much of the essence of what was going on, whether it's the person or nature itself or whatever was going on. And, telling the picture tells 1,000 words kind of story, where you're using the visuals to really convey a feeling, an emotion, or really translate as much of it as you can without words. So something that really, I guess, captured me with your content is the way you are able to tell the story through the visuals, through using all of your wonderful camera equipment and your storytelling abilities. Do you want to maybe tell me a little bit about your journey with storytelling and how you think about maybe trying to capture that, or what that is for you?
Well, I remember my first photo editor at the newspaper in the Sydney Morning Herald, where I started being a photographer. He said, I want to see something that everybody has seen before. I want to see it from a different angle. or I want to see something that no one's ever seen before. So that was kind of what I had to do. If I was going to something that everyone's seen before, I had to get a different angle of it, or a different perspective of it. And I was working with a newspaper, so I was my job was to tell the story of what was going on. So, okay, David, you're going out to photograph a young man that's ridden his bicycle around the world. Take a photo for the page 3. You go out, you say, hey, dude, where's your bicycle? Have you got a globe? Can you stand and hold the globe and look at the camera? Bam, that's the story. Man, globe, bicycle, right. Headline, So in that sense, telling stories through the visuals is what I have been doing since I was 20. And then traveling around the world with my photography, living in Denmark. I've been in about 40 different countries with my camera.
Goodness.
And it's kind of, I kind of see there is no doubt that every moment in our universe is like, it's seeable from billions of different perspectives, right? And even our vision, if we talk about like scientifically the human body, which is quite interesting, we've got the periphery. I can see how many fingers I've got, or I can see that there's something moving rather. I don't even know if it's human fingers or sticks. Now I can see that it's human fingers, but I can't see how many there is. And then I can see, and then I have to look specifically at it with my fovea, which is the little tiny one in the middle. And through the fovea, that's where 99% of your cones on the back of your eyeball are that go through your optic nerve into your brain. So unless you're actually looking at something that's in this area about this hole, the size of a hole in a coin,
yes,
in front of you, like at arm's length, that is
focal
where
point.
99% of your vision's coming into your brain, right? So if you're not looking at it directly, as if you've got to read the letters on the number plate in front of you, you've got to look at the first letter and the last number, otherwise you won't be able to see it. You can't kind of look at the middle one and see what it says without looking at all of them. So in that sense, our vision is really like a little laser that's going around. It's not touching everything at once. We think it is, but it's not. It's only touching little tiny bits of it.
That would be too much stimulation, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
If you could do all of that.
So having understood that, you can see that any given moment can be seen from any given amount of perspectives, right? So change your lens, change your angle, change your height. It's all different. So in that sense, my job was like, I go to a spot to tell a story, and it's like, okay, whoa, where's the spot? Where's the spot, and when's the moment to tell what I'm here for?
Yes.
Then I'd start looking for that. So
I see what you mean.
This is about a woman who trains horses. Okay, where's the horse? I'm looking for the horse. I'm not looking for the motorbike.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the horse. I'm noticing her hair. I'm noticing a mane of a horse's long hair, her long hair. I'm starting to get ideas. It'd be nice with the wind blowing and her hair and the horse's hair. That'd be a nice shot. And then I kind of zoom into it and kind of create that moment by saying, hey, hold your horse and turn your head this way, and kind of looking, observing, and getting the shot. And so with my gardening and my YouTube channel, the Weedy Garden, what I'm doing is I'm expressing this amazing enthusiasm that I have, that I learnt first during COVID at the age of 52, 52, where the soil is kind of like the stomach for the plants, the plant kingdom. The ground is like the stomach for the plant kingdom. That's our stomach is kind of like our compost for our structure, and this whole nutrient cycle, and photosynthesis and microbes and fungus and how it all. It's like, whoa! I never knew anything about any of this. This is amazing. I had no idea that plants live from bacteria, fat or bacteria bodies. I had no idea that bacteria were even involved. And it's like, wow. And once you look at it and you see in the microscope and you kind of see how the system works, and then it's like, wow, there's a whole story that we as humans should know off the top of our head, because that's where we get our true potential from, understanding this system.
Yes.
And that's about food. It's funny, you say, this guy comes in and he says, I got a pet cat the other day. And the other guy says, what do you feed it? He says, I feed it cat food and fish and stuff. Oh, good, right? And the same guy comes in with a mango tree and he says, I got a mango tree and I planted it in the ground. And the friend says, what do you feed it? And the guy goes, what are you talking about? He says, I put it in the ground. He says, yeah, I know, but what do you feed it? And he says, what are you talking about? He says, well, that guy doesn't know yet what the picture is that he's trying to paint. Because the mango tree is like a pet, and you buy a cat and you put it in a cage and you don't feed it, it's not going to do well.
No.
You put a mango tree in the ground, in the dirt, fine. But unless it's living underneath a forest canopy where there's birds pooing and spiders dying and egg shells falling and leaves and bark and grubs and worms and all that contributing to this food cycle, because everything that's composing is trying to reach down in the dirt or the soil to find these little Lego blocks to build itself. And every seed and every animal has this little like booklet of, oh, I need a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of that, and it gets it through its stomach or through the roots. And so if you've got a tree and you chuck it in the dirt somewhere and there's not all these Lego blocks around it and they're not coming in, then it's not going to be itself. You know, it's not going to reach its full potential. It'll kind of say, oh, okay, I need a little bit of a wall and a little bit of a wall, and I've got a couple of walls, and it'll look like a little mango tree, but it won't look like a mango tree, you know, which it wants to be. So once you understand that if you've got your plants and you've got them in the ground, then what are you going to feed them?
Yeah.
And if you've got good soil and there was a big jungle on top of you, then fine for a couple of years, but after that you'll still have to figure out how that's going to happen. Yeah. So growing this forest, you've got your fruit trees and your support trees, which kind of grow together. And your support trees are producing nitrogen, and you chop them and you mulch them up and you're feeding your fruit tree with that it's growing besides until it gets up.
Until they take over the canopy, is that right? Yeah, and you start to have fruit trees dominating your whole food forest.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful thought.
That's the idea in the end of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the way you highlight and talk about this whole cycle, it's like almost like, you know, we've come along for the journey with you, learning about all of this.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel it as well. I feel it is, that was what I was saying just before about this enthusiasm, also combined with the importance of it and kind of the realization that actually, well, realizing myself that I didn't know it is one thing, but also realizing that, you know, if I did know it, would have been like to educate children. Yeah. To just educate people. Yeah. I think it's not. I don't know what I'm trying to say by it, but I think we were talking about it before off camera about kind of belonging in a cycle where you are part of the earth and you're part of a system that you kind of understand and where you belong in it. And I think getting closer to that by having your own food around you like I am, and learning about the trees and having that satisfaction of eating the food, the vegetables, the fruits and nuts. I mean, I think the main story is what I was just saying, the nutrient cycle, and understanding that all seeds have kind of different potential and all seeds have a favourite. It's like if you see the seeds or the little cuttings, or if you see the plants in your garden as like little children in the kindergarten, and you kind of say, oh, they like this and that and the other to make them happy. Little Johnny might like playing footy. Yeah. So give him a footy and he'll be happy. And little Sally's like drawing, so give her some pencils and she'll be happy. And if you can understand each tree, and if you want to grow a food forest and grow your own food, then the first thing is to find out what grows well in your area. And you find that out by the local people. Yes. And the local nurseries. They know all that stuff already. They're there to help you. And these gardener people, they love to help each other. So information in the gardening world is something that's like really, really easy accessible, because as soon as you put your hand up, people will jump in at you to try and help you. Yeah. That's how enthusiastic people are once they get into gardening. Once you start this kind of life path, it's like a little bit addictive. You can't kind of go back. You can't change the way you see it anymore.
No, you're right. But you're changing the perspective on how people see it, because so many of us are disconnected, and you're seeing just the produce that you might find in the store or something you just buy, even at the farmer's market, but you're not necessarily seeing the process of how that's coming to be.
Even if it helps someone stop eating packet food and boxed food when they go shopping. You know, I'm not saying anything bad against vegetables or fruit or nuts or any produce that you buy in packets that's actually grown in the ground. Anything that's actually cultivated in the ground that you can buy in the shops, go for it and eat it and do your thing, do your world expression of who you are, and just trust that where you're buying your food and what you eat is good for you. But even, you know, understanding this story and understanding how food and nutrient cycles work and what we're built from and where we need our nutrients from and all that. If you can just get your head around that, even just getting your head around that, then it gives you the power to think even better. And then once you can think better, you can even work it out more, and it kind of just explodes like that. Because the more you give your body what it wants, its full potential, to reach its full potential, the more you'll realise how your mind is working, and how your skin is normal, and how your joints are like working, and how you can see a vision of yourself as an old person, you know?
Yes.
And so you don't have to have your own garden to do that, but to be aware of what you eat is the most important thing. You are what you eat. And my channel is kind of like right at the beginning. If you want to go hardcore and like grow your own food, then do that. And it's become, for me, the truth is that before 52, before lockdown, I used to like having vegetable gardens, but I'd chuck some seeds in the ground and didn't really know what was going on. I was focused on my photography and telling stories and going places. But I always had a vision of myself as an old man. I saw myself as an old man, and people were saying, "Oh, how are you looking? How are you looking so healthy, old man?" And it was like, my answer was like, "Well, I'm just kind of living in my little house, and I sort of saw myself in this little cottage with a little fence around it, with a little vegetable garden in it."
Yeah.
And that was what I was living, and that's kind of like a subconscious kind of vision I had. And so lockdown, and the age of 52, I think, okay, I've just passed halfway. If I'm going to be 100, so it's time to start thinking about that. And I thought, well, this is a good enough opportunity. So without knowing anything about anything, I think I'll start the garden. And that's where it started. So what I think I can offer people when they watch the channel is to show that without knowing anything, you can actually end up living like a gorilla like that, like eating your yummy food. I've got vegetables, I've got root fruits, I've got dragon fruits, I've got chickens and eggs and honey,
Worms, compost.
preservatives and compost soil going, and worms there going, and all this bird life and insect life, and it's really beautiful, you know. And even if on half an acre, it's only half an acre, and whatever's going on outside doesn't matter. It's like you've got this beautiful little oasis, and you don't have to even have half an acre. You have a little backyard.
Well, that's where I'm at, and trying to turn my backyard into a little oasis of its own.
And I think it grows. I think that kind of addiction grows. You get to a point where you go, okay, I can't have any more plants, but I want them, so I'm gonna envision myself now with something else, and open up your opportunities, you know, for them to kind of just unfold.
That's right.
And if you start saying, oh, I can't do that, then it's not, you're right. You're right.
There's a lot to be said about
right.
that, isn't there? Yeah.
So,
can you tell me a little bit about your movie?
my movie was sort of, I was inspired to make my movie one morning. I was sitting out the back of the house and reading my emails, and this email from a guy, and he said, I'm angry at you, Weedy. And I said, oh, and I kept reading. He said, because I've been up binge watching your wonderful channel for 7 hours, and I'm late for work, and I'm tired, but oh my God, love, you know? And I went, oh, I kind of felt happy, but sad at the same time that he was like, oh, no, you had to watch 7 hours to get up to date with what was going on. Because the channel is kind of like, you learn how to make compost, you learn how to make your worms, you learn about what this soil system is, and you go, all right, I got it, let's go. So after 2 years, I thought I might get all my episodes, and I'll edit them together, and I'll kind of weave some other footage or something in between them, and I'll make the story about from the beginning. I knew nothing to I just lived in my garden for 3 months and ate all my own food, ate my own weight in food to see if I could.
Yeah, and you could, right?
And I could, and I did, and at the same time we had the big floods.
Yes.
So people were getting food flown in with helicopters, and I was up here with abundance and with a perfect story.
It was.
You know, and I got my bees, and I got my chickens, and I got eggs, and if I do it again today, it would be a lot more fun because I'd be eating this beautiful fruit and mangoes and pineapples and stuff. But
because that was early days.
It was
in
after
garden,
2 years, so none of my fruit trees had any fruit on them.
Yeah, wow.
But it was still fun, and it was still a good experience. Only the difficulty was the heat. It was the middle of summer, so it was very hot up here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I mention your movie is because I sincerely recommend everybody goes to check it out. But
it's a good spot to start at the Weedy Garden. If you want to watch the Weedy Garden, then it's a good spot to start by watching the movie. I've made two versions: a long version, which is 1 minute and 40. Sorry, 1 hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And then a second version, which is just 42 minutes.
Yes.
And I made that one kind of like for school classrooms.
Right,
like
okay.
40 minutes for a school session, class, whatever they call that. So, but the long version is a good one, yeah.
And it's called Down the Carrot Hole.
It's called Down the Carrot Hole, but the thumbnail is called Harvesting Hope
Yes, yes.
on my channel.
Yeah.
If you look at all my videos, there's like a different thumbnail, which is like a silhouette of my face and the stars.
Yeah.
And it's called Harvesting Hope.
It's a really beautiful movie. It brought me to tears, actually, just in the way that you framed everything. And I think, like, with some fantastic photography, some shots, some amazing things, it really showed something that I felt but couldn't kind of convey in a way. But I sincerely recommend everyone goes to watch it. What do we got here?
These are acerola cherries.
Acerolas.
Yeah, they're like really, really high in vitamin C. So eating one of these is like eating one orange in vitamin C.
Wow,
Don't
delicious.
quote me on that.
You heard it here first. But they're delicious, aren't they? And they got a few pips.
You hear the cicadas now. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with the sound. It's just the cicadas.
Yeah, they sort of switch on and off, don't they, at certain times?
They've kind of mostly finished for the summer now.
Because they can get quite loud.
They can get really loud, yeah.
It's like a bit of a chorus out here. And you've got beautiful bird song, and then, as you mentioned in your movie, some moments of quiet. And it's like, there you go, some beautiful birds in the background. You may not be able to pick it up on these microphones, but
The birds.
it's a beautiful soundtrack to work by, I guess. The acerolas are delicious.
It's maybe not the best thing to do an interview while you're eating. There's probably a reason why people don't usually do that, but you can in the Weedy Garden.
Yeah, honestly,
when you come to the Weedy Garden and do an interview, you've got to have some fruit.
I'm going to pinch another one. I think this is very fitting,
Yeah.
Weedy. I think this is a great way of doing it. I feel very blessed to be able to come here and share this with you. And
Nice.
I think that's also part of it as well, is the ability to share. Do you want to tell me a little bit about the garden makeovers you've been doing? Because they're an amazing thing that you're doing to give back and help others in the community to have their own Weedy Garden. Is that
Thanks.
right?
Yeah. Well, it kind of all started with, and to be honest, having a YouTube channel is not easy. In the beginning, it was like a sort of a hobby during COVID. And I didn't think about making a living out of it. I just thought I'd just do a cool video and have a YouTube channel. I didn't think about the money aspect of it. But because I was doing it for a couple of years and getting such amazing feedback, and people was changing people's lives, and people were like really starting to get into this, I thought I want to keep doing this. So I stopped saying yes to any photography jobs, and I just dedicated my time to do videos and just learning, just enjoying this learning curve of gardening and about the life of plants and soil, and sharing it, and realized that, okay, I have to make like millions of views a month to be able to make a living where I can actually buy a property and build a house. So then I started to do like sponsored stuff. So I'm sort of like, g'day, I'm doing some pruning here, and by the way, there's a really nice solar powered thing you can buy on my website, and there's an affiliate link, and it just like it felt like I was like, just like diverting or digressing, or what's it called?
That's exactly it.
Jumping out of line from my storytelling all the time. It didn't feel right. So then I tried to do, okay, I'll only go for those things that I use in the garden and that I need in the garden and that I think that are really cool. But the truth is that I thought it was really cool to build your own tanks out of just a bit of old tank if you found them, and go to the tip and find a few poles and stuff and build. That was how I did it.
Yeah.
So promoting anything kind of felt wrong.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
You know, so I was kind of in a bit of a dilemma. And then one day I thought about it, and I asked myself, I said, how am I going to make a living out of this? Because I like doing this, and people are getting something out of it. I felt that beautiful, fulfilling feeling of doing something with my work, with my photography, where people were benefiting from it. And I never got that with the work that I'd done before, very much. But then I thought, okay, what can I do? And the answer I got was like, well, you just got to give. People want to watch because they're going to get something. They're going to either get entertainment, or they're going to get inspired, or they're going to get some information. So that's basically the three things I kind of got to put out And then, well, I thought, well, I'm doing that, but I can't do a video every day because I put a lot of time and energy into these videos.
You do. That's
And-
something to say, actually, is that it does take you a long, long time to edit these things. I mean, even editing the basic things that I do is very time
We
consuming.
might be sitting here talking for an hour, but you'll probably use 6 hours editing.
Yeah.
And you'll probably play it back from the beginning to the end, I don't know, 20 times before you're happy with it.
Yeah.
So you know what it's like. So editing and so on. But the answer I got was like, okay, what can I give more than that? And it's like, well, why are people watching your channel? It's because they like my garden and they're kind of like, they'd like to have a garden like this. I bet people keep writing, oh, geez, I wish I had that. So, well, how about you give them a garden? It's like, how am I going to give a garden? It's like, I can't even afford to buy my next tree. And the answer I kind of came from inside me was like, well, you don't have to. You just have to put it out there. And anyone that wants to be part of that, like make it like a raffle, or make it like a kind of a, if you want to support the cause, you put into the kitty, and then whoever wins gets drawn out of the kitty, and they kind of get the kitty and the food forest. So I thought, oh, what have I got? So I've got a beehive, I've got a solar generator, I've got about 100 trees, and I kind of made this long list of what you'd need to have, like a worm farm and the compost
It's a very
bay.
decent list, isn't it? That's,
You know,
yeah.
with all these things you need to be able to kind of get up to scratch with what I've got. And so I made that list and I said, okay, that's the giveaway, that's the grand prize. And I basically put it out there.
Yeah, and how do people become like eligible to be picked?
Well, it's I've got these little designs, like I've got this one here.
Yeah, it's
I've
such
got
a
a
beautiful
local
shirt,
artist, her
yeah.
name is Katie from Iswas, and she draws lots of different designs for me. She's helping me with my book I'm doing at the moment as well.
Yes.
Can't wait to see what she's doing with that.
Yes.
But I've got different designs, and they're all about like little plants and little happy animals and insects and so on, right? So every time I do one, it's kind of like, you could call it a raffle, but I don't like to call it a raffle. I like to call it like, if you want to show that you're supporting this cause, because the cause is to transform people's lives, and to build more gardens, and to get people together as community, and to get into this nice vibe of sharing and doing and creating as a community, as a group. It's amazing energy, amazing. And so I'm kind of basically suggesting you want to be part of that, and then you can be part of it, as in you'll go into the draw. So at the end of 3 months, I just get all the numbers. Everyone who's bought a designer, you can buy one, or you can buy 10, or you can buy 100. You get the bigger chance if you buy 100.
Yeah.
But then I just basically pull out one and say that's the number, and it's the order number what they order. So they order. I get an order number when they order, and then I write down the order number. So the order number is what I pick out, and then that's what their name on it. And so then I call them
And give them the good news.
and tell them what's going on. And it's happened twice now. The first one was in America, and in that instance I couldn't go over and do it. And after that happened, I did a makeover for my neighbour Bill.
Yep.
And that was it's a long story, but short story. A sponsor came to me and said, hey, we've got a product. And in that instance, it was a raised garden bed, really nice, high quality raised garden bed. And because I want to promote you doing your own stuff out of old tanks, I kind of didn't want to spend $2,500 on a garden bed. But for specific people, they're really nice. And specific situations, they're top quality stuff. But anyway, I said, what about you sponsor it? I'll do a video and I'll give it to my neighbour. So I gave him a makeover. And it was his birthday, and it's a long story again, but it ended with, he was very emotional at what we'd done for him in a day. And so that sort of prompted me, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to make it only in Australia.
Yeah.
So only Australians can win. And I think at the end of the year, I'll do one international one. Pick a winner from somewhere in the world.
That would be quite cool. And so, and you went, you recently went down to
Naracoorte.
Naracoorte?
Naracoorte, yeah. When I picked the winner, I could see I didn't know how to pronounce the word. So Naracoorte.
Yeah.
But I found out it's pronounced Naracoorte. It's in South Australia. Very arid, very dry, very hot, very different to here. But we went down. Costa came with me. Took a beautiful trip through the outback with Costa.
Yeah, amazing.
Our garden guru, friend Costa.
Yes.
Amazing man. Lovely, lovely man. And with a bunch of, I think there was 18 volunteers, 19 with Costa.
Yeah.
And 20 with Pam's grandson.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
And did way more than we promised on the giveaway. Like she got the list, but she got a whole bunch more as well because it just needed doing.
Yeah.
And we couldn't kind of leave her
And
halfway.
it took you a little bit longer, is that right?
It took a day longer than we planned.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just got it finished on the nick of time, and it was beautiful. I made a series into it, so there's a series about it on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and I've just finished watching that. I really, really enjoyed it. It was quite amazing, just not only to watch your journey through the outback as one side of it,
Yeah.
all the way down with Costa,
Yeah.
but to also
that's fun.
see the transformation, and,
Yep.
and to see what you can do for somebody. And I think like seeing how many people turned up to lend a hand, how many people wanted to be a part of that, and everything was like, it's quite inspirational to see, that people will pull together and make that happen.
It was amazing. For me, it was huge.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like that before. And it was so amazing that everyone had trust in what my vision was and sort of just agreed to do what I asked them to do in the moment, because I didn't do any physical work. I was filming everything.
Yeah.
I'd sort of say to people, hey, I've got to do this, got to do that.
Yeah.
You understand how to do it? And they go, yep. And I'd say, okay.
That's awesome.
I'd come back later and how's it going and what are we doing? And everyone got everything done. It's just so amazing. I can't express it in right now. But everyone that came was kind of like perfect for it.
Yeah.
It was kind of a bit surreal. And like when I put the post out, because I don't put it on social media, I just sent a newsletter out to my newsletter subscribers that we need volunteers for this now. And then within the first few hours, all the people that came were the people that responded. And I kind of note them down as they came in and got their email as they came in. And by the time I'd spoken to all of them and said, okay, you're in and all that, there was no more people that responded.
Oh, really?
So we got the perfect crew, and only the perfect crew was the only ones that responded. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I was thinking, oh no, I don't want to have to filter through 250 people that all want to come down and see Costa and see Weedy and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And how am I going to do this? But no, universe, call it what you want, had the plan laid out, man.
That's perfect. The right amount of people.
Right amount of people, the perfect people. One guy knew exactly what to do with the bees, and he was a real pro, and we needed a real pro to do it, otherwise no one would have got it done, because it was a big, difficult thing.
And it wasn't a real flow hive from memory.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
And we had the chipper down there, the wood chipper, and a couple of guys kind of put that together out of the box that it came in, and it's like, okay, you guys can put that together? Yeah, we got it,
Isn't that amazing?
And some of the couple of guys rebuilt the whole chicken shed like I'd asked them to, without seeing any drawings or anything. It's like, yeah, they got it, we got it.
It's quite beautiful what people can do when they bring themselves together and put their minds to it. Is that something that's like something you see as the future for Weedy Garden in terms of community? I know that you're trying to, you like to bring people here or give them a chance to win a trip here or can come and stay here as well and things like this. Is that right?
As part of having a kind of a little business going with the Weedy Garden somehow, we have put on my website where you can book a tour.
Yep.
Stay at the cottage.
Yeah.
But talking about that and talking about this giveaways with the makeovers, with the garden makeovers, I kind of felt a little bit sort of sad for the people. Not sad, but I felt a little bit like, I'm sure there's people overseas that want to support what I'm doing in Australia, but they're not going to buy a ticket because they don't want to win because they're not in Australia.
Yes.
So they're not kind of able to support it, right? So I thought, if you want to support it and you are overseas, then I'll give you a free visit to the Weedy Garden.
That's crazy, yeah.
So anyone and even if you're an Aussie and you don't have a yard, and you don't want to maybe even enter and give it away to the community garden or the school, then you can just enter the other one, which is a monkey.
The monkey, yeah.
And then you'll win a trip to the Weedy Garden.
That's crazy. And then so they'll come and
I'll bring, I mean, I'm looking for, and I hope it's someone like from overseas.
Yeah.
And I just really think it would be so cool to bring them here, take them down to the waterfall, jump off the waterfalls, go down to the beach, go walk in the rainforest, bring them up to the Weedy Garden, have some potatoes underneath the stars.
Do what we've done, go foraging around for some beautiful fruit.
That'd be an experience in itself, just to come from overseas, just to experience this area, this part of the world.
It's an experience for me coming from Brisbane, let alone another part of the world, It's just something just different and a nice way of seeing what we as consumers, I guess, or watchers, subscribers, whatever you call it, online, and to get to experience it firsthand, because
well, for me it's kind of just normal and natural and no big deal and so on and so on. But I guess my garden is special. It is special in the sense that it's like, okay, I'm a photographer, I'm making a YouTube channel, I'm going to make a food forest, I'm an artist, let's go.
Yeah.
And what would the perfect one be like? And if I was to just be an old man in a forest and eat my own food and stuff, what would I have? And it's like, it's kind of like this kind of blurry vision just kind of coming in and out, you know? So my garden is, I'm aware of it for a few reasons. Like, I want to try all the different fruits that are here in the area.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just, it's kind of funny how it's kind of just grew into what it is today.
And talk to me about Jeff and his
Jeff Lawton.
involvement. Yes.
Yeah, Jeff is my teacher, my permaculture teacher, Jeff Lawton.
Yeah.
And
he's a special man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an amazing man. I made a video about how I met him.
Yes.
And that was just a pure, what do we call it? It's, synchronicity.
It's also in your movie as well, isn't it?
It's also in my movie as well, how I met him, yeah. But he was the guy who first started me off on the whole food forest thing. I saw a video of his on YouTube. He was talking about a food forest. It's like, what? I mean, I know what a vegetable garden is. Like, who doesn't know what a vegetable garden is? But who's ever heard of a food forest, man? Even a vegetable garden is not called a food garden.
No,
it's called a vegetable garden. And then you got a forest, like, or a jungle. It's like food forest. I'd never even heard the concept. But, and anyway, so I ended up just like bumping into him really randomly, met him, and what can I say about Jeff? We've become really good friends, and we've collabed a lot on videos together.
Wonderful.
And he's part of this giveaway. He is not only a teacher, not only one of the best teacher, permaculture teacher, he's also a designer.
Yes.
So he designs properties, permaculture land. It doesn't have to be a property, parks and all sorts of things, all over the world.
Yeah.
So that's part of the prize. He can do LiDAR mapping and satellite mapping of your property.
Wow.
And then make a design depending on what you want and what food you like to eat. And so you'll get that, and then we'll come out and implement it.
That's so cool. And so you go and help out with that kind of thing as well? Is that something you're involved in, or they just have you?
No, he does the design in his office over on the Chenin.
Right.
So he can go through the internet and find the property and see the property and make the design. And he'll have Skype calls with the winner. Yeah. Like, oh, do you like mangoes? I hate mangoes. So there's no mangoes in that person's design. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But they like da 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 da. Okay, lots of them, rose and rose, whatever they. So to make it a permaculture design, to understand that you want a fruit tree growing in the middle of a paddock. It needs to have food, so you want to grow other trees around it that you can chop and feed it with, and you want it to be protected, and making a design so you're not just planting a bunch of little sticks out in the paddock and they all die. You know what I mean? It's like you need a plan.
Yeah.
You need a plan.
Yeah, and he also looks at like the way the water might run through the property, the elevation levels, and all of these types of things as well, and then building swales like you have.
If you need them,
or some sort of watching how that was done here was a big job, wasn't it? Did you dig them out by hand, or you did it?
These are all dug out by hand.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. That's a big job. We were wandering up and down before, and it's quite extensive. But
Jeff reckons he can dig about 5 meters a morning before breakfast.
5 meters.
That's what he says. You got to say something. But no, I got a bit more than he. I got about halfway through one swale.
Yeah.
But then I heard about the grounded community.
Yes.
So it's a bunch of people that you're part of this grounded community.
Yeah.
And then every month, every moon, there's a blitz on at someone's place. And to have a blitz at your place, you have to have done 3 other blitzes.
At other people's.
And when I say it's a blitz, it's like, okay, I need my food forest pruned, so everyone's going to come out and we'll prune. Everyone's going to prune, some are going to wood chip, and at the end we'll have a barbecue and we'll have a party.
Awesome.
So that's what it's called.
That's such a good idea.
And so I joined that, and kind of in return to promote it on the YouTube channel, I didn't have to go out and do 3 blitzes before they came to my place.
Right.
But I've since been out and done mine afterwards.
Yes.
But that was and that concept kind of has now changed to be like the Weedy Garden community. That's what the Weedy Garden community is now, sort of.
Yeah.
But the people that are coming are not expecting then us to come to their place to help. They're just coming to help.
They just want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think
and a lot of people, sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, please.
A lot of people that were there were expressing how amazing it was to be together with everyone else that was so like-minded. And that was one of the main comments of what was the takeaway, or what was the high point of the weekend, and that was being around the people.
Something to be said about that, isn't there? and bringing people together, doing stuff for each other, to help each other, to lift each other up. And I don't see why couldn't be more of these around all sorts of different communities. I think even if if someone was listening that is not from around here, or even in a neighborhood situation, like, you can still go around and help blitz each other's yards and things like this.
Yeah.
And
It's a kind of a different mentality. And I guess depending on where you're living in the world, it might be a quite weird, uncomfortable kind of thing to go out and say, oh, okay, when I've got an idea, let's all come over to my garden and help me. And then next week we'll all come over to your garden, and then next week we'll come to your garden, and we'll do that, and we'll do it like 4 times a year, so everyone's garden gets a big workout every year. That's the basic essence of it.
yeah.
And you can make it whatever you want.
True.
And the people you get involved can be whoever you want.
Mm.
And you could do it whatever you want. It could be building, it could be painting, doesn't have to be gardening.
Very true.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just the world's run a different way. It's just a different. I don't know. I'm not kind of promoting that we do it like that. I'm just saying this is how we do it, and I do it. And
Yeah.
if you like that, then do it like that. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. I'm not kind of saying everyone should be a big community, but it's a really nice thing, and being around people that are part of it is cool too. You don't have to be like a barefoot hippie kind of to be. It's the community. It's a bunch of mates, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Just a bunch of people, man. Just like brothers, man. Sisters, brothers, let's go. What's the big problem?
It could be for anything, you're right. It could be just connecting over sports or something, whatever it may be that people like to do.
People do that already, don't they? The soccer teams and stuff. That's maybe their way of doing it.
They do, yeah.
But I do like the idea of getting stuff done, though.
Yeah, help. I mean...
But then again, if you're living in town, you've got a little yard and stuff, you don't have a lot to do you? So you do footy instead.
Yeah, you're probably doing footy on the weekends instead of chopping all down the banana trees.
But, yeah. I'm glad I can do it, and I've got the space for it, and it's just funny how it's all fallen in like this.
Yeah, I suppose because maybe I'm more like-minded in that way about thinking about community and helping people out, and probably something that I biasedly want to do myself and promote. I think that's why my interest leans towards that way, saying why couldn't we?
No, that's true.
And I also, I for example, back in the Redlands where I originally started all of this, there's a garden share group, and everyone comes together each month, and they share cuttings, seeds, excess produce, and then every so often they'll go to someone's property, and basically we went to one property that Jeff's son Daniel, is it? Yeah. Designed. Yeah. And you got a tour, and hey, this is what we're doing, how we're doing it here, and everybody gets a little bit of a lesson and can kind of learn a bit from what's going on that property and share around and that kind of thing. And even though it doesn't have to be about gardening, I just think the same thing as what you were saying before about how everyone appreciates having that connection, that community, that bringing people together, having the like-mindedness, having that, being able to talk about stuff, bring their families, bring their kids, their spouses, whatever, and share in that on a Sunday once a month or something, I think gives people a lot to then go and take away into their busy lives. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be out here in a community where there's lots more that needs to be done. There
could be a huge wave of this new consciousness that comes into suburbia.
Wouldn't that be nice?
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Everyone that's got these yards where they've just mow the lawn every weekend to make... If all these guys and all these ladies just... Suddenly there was this magic dust that went over the suburbs at Father Christmas, and everyone woke up thinking, oh man, I had this dream last night that we had tomatoes and pumpkins in our backyard, and the kids were eating watermelon, and where the old caravan used to be, blah blah blah. It's I did that too. And imagine wouldn't that be be a nice movie?
Yeah,
a nice movie that everyone wakes up from this funny dream and wants to do this, and they just all start helping each other. Yeah. All start helping each other to get their vegetable gardens up and running. It's almost like, guys, we're going to have a big blackout, a big food shortage, something in 10 months. All right? It's time to get yourselves together to change your lawns into little food growing areas. And we get together and it's okay, you're in a very shady part, you're growing all the lettuce or whatever, and so on. That would be kind of cool. And that would really create a sense of community. People helping each other to grow their own food.
Utilizing what space you have and trading resources. Like you don't even have to be gardening. You could just be a good builder and go.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That would get people together. I noticed when we had the floods here as well, when we had the floods and the roads were cut off, you couldn't get into town, the community kind of came together a lot in a different way.
Yeah, interesting.
Dinner in hand and electricity was out. Oh, I've got an extra solar charger. You can come over and use it or whatever. And your fridge is down. I've got I'm on solar. I've got a big freezer. Bringing stuff over, stuff like that.
In times of crisis, when people come together.
Usually come together in times of crisis, but it's a bit of a shame we need to have crisis to bring people together.
Isn't it? Yeah, isn't it? Sometimes it takes being shaken to the rock bottom to be able to build something decent on top of it. But unfortunately, that might be something to do with human nature that we are yet to discover.
Yeah.
But
I feel the sun's coming down on my back now. We've moved out of the shadows.
we're slowly drifting it back out into the sun. But it's probably heating you up nicely over there, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm getting a bit warm.
Yeah, that's okay.
Would you like to taste a yellow tomato?
Are they ripe yellow?
They're beautiful, ready to go. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course. You can get yellow tomatoes, obviously, can't you? Yeah.
Do you like to have chilies?
Bird's eye chilies?
I think we'll end it with having a little chili. We'll taste the chili, shall we?
A chili, all right.
Yeah, I think they're pretty mild ones. But I usually say in my videos, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. I must admit, my videos have a lot more cinematic experience with them.
You certainly do.
I usually say, enjoy your gardens, enjoy your lives, because that is important.
It is.
And no one else owns you. It's a hot.
They are. Woo! Thanks for...
You can have some fresh pineapple. It might help.
What a way to send it off with a nice bite of hot chili.
Yummy.
They're nice though, aren't they?
Doesn't last for long.
No. It's good for you. Good for you to have some chili.